I decided to record one of my sessions showing how I color an animation just for future reference. I animated this in Storyboard Pro and then brought it over to Harmony just because I had free time at work and that's the program work had. But I have the animation on 2 layers, the body and then the hair and piercings, which were a huge pain in the ass. So first what we do is we put the line art and the colors on 2 different layers. So you're right there. To do that, I do this. Apply to all frames, so it will grab all of these frames when I Command A. And then this button, apply to line art and color art. No, it's send down. There it is. It's create color art from line art. So you click that, and then it sends all these strokes to the color layer. So if you go to this drawing panel, my shortcut key is K, but you can turn off and on the strokes. Because you don't always want to put the colors directly onto the line art. In case you want to edit the line art, it's a lot more annoying. So you color down here, and then this is the view both button. And this way it separates it completely, but it's like there's no space in between any of the colors. So back in camera mode, now we gotta make a color palette, because for every single individual color you use in your file, has to have an individual swatch. So I'm gonna pull in a reference and grab colors from it. And sometimes you're gonna want to make a new group, because if you do that, then you can grab this folder of your palette and copy paste it into another Harmony document, and then it'll just give you all your colors again. So what I do is just create a bunch of swatches that we'll pick in a second. Import image. I gotta find my colors. Where did I put them? There we go. Oh, fuck. Well, you can't import a PSD, technically. Well, where'd it go? I put it on the bottom layer. Very cool. Oh yeah, I have a color card turned on, which you need for rendering it. Well, I'll talk about that more later. So, to move this stuff out of the way, because Harmony is as complicated as possible, you add a peg. So you're going to be moving the peg around, technically. And this is the transform. So it's, gosh, it like tweened it. Let's see, I think, yeah, there it is on the bottom. Those are my Dabi swatches. So I'm gonna double click this, grab this. Oh, I guess I drag and drop. Skin. Oh, I also just press I for the eyedropper tool. Oh, never mind, that don't work. Come on. Come on. I think that's all I have on this. But the cool thing about it is, with this stuff, if you decide you want the eye color different later, you can change it to anything else and it will change it everywhere in the file. Which I can demonstrate that later. I'm gonna turn off this. collapse that because it's annoying. Let's see, now I gotta grab all of these too. Sometimes you're gonna be clicked over here and wonder why you can't grab anything, but make sure you're working on the lines. Sending that down. If your computer is shitty, that's gonna explode it. Alright. Now's the fun part. You do the fill bucket tool. And this is closing the gap, since lines that aren't touching, that's a gap, so it won't color sometimes unless you either increase this. Oh, it's all the way at max and it won't fill. This program is very temperamental. I will use it's nested under the paint tool, but the close gap, just click and drag and it will close it like that. It's like a godsend. You're going to want to set it to a keyboard shortcut because I don't think it is by default. Oh, I gave my Dabi an extra earring. I'm gonna just make a whole entire swatch for that. I'll make it off red, because why not? See, we have this. Then you go to your next frame, toggling that on and off. Sometimes I'll just do one piece at a time so I'm not constantly switching colors. This is fun to listen to YouTube videos while doing, because it's a small amount of brain power. And sometimes you can just click and drag across all of them like that. Oh. Okay, well there's a lot more clicking and dragging I could do than I thought. Okay, I just learned something new because I didn't know you could do this. Ha! I thought you could only do it with connected pieces. Okay, yeah, that's a staple. It's just on the very side of the face. If you're unsure of what the hell you're coloring, you just turn on the other stuff. The staples are great at showing 3D form on the face. I didn't do it enough. Some studios, or no, yeah, it depends on the studio or the worker, but some productions will let you just color on top of the line art and not even bother with this color layer at all. It just depends on the artist doing this scene, and I guess the studio, sometimes they have rules about it, sometimes they say just complete the project however you want to the animators. Alright, now hair. Oh, what did I not do? See, there's a giant gap here, technically. You could either draw it in on the line art layer, and then grab it and send it down, or you can just use the stroke tool, which is nested under the paint bucket tool, and do this. Oh, well, I guess I shouldn't have done that on the line layer. Technically, we're on the color layer now, and then you just draw the stroke, so it's just a 0-point line, technically. I always like to go into this view so I know I'm doing stuff on the right layer. Oh, there's a lot of gaps. Because drawing his hair is funny. Temperamental program. Sometimes you gotta go hunt for the gap. There it is. I like to go as low as possible tolerance so it fills out as much as it can. What am I missing here? Oh, I did the earrings on the wrong layer this time. But that's okay, because I accounted for it here. Oh shit, I was doing that. I was using the default swatch. I want to use the hair swatch, because later if I want to change his hair to white, I want to be able to do that. I have this animation on loop, so it's been... When I finish scrolling through all these, we'll start over. So there's so much to keep track of. I'll like always end up on the wrong layer at some point. There we go. So I think that layer is done. Now we'll go to the bold layer. This should be quite easy. Should be. Oh, maybe not. Forgot that I did not connect a lot of the eyes and the patches. I left a lot of this open. Oh, you know what else? I didn't account for where the scars stop. I guess it only matters that far. Oh, no, 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 no. That's purple. Yeah. Silly scar man. Yeah, see the skin's getting in his eye. Come on. You know what? I did his piercings on the same layer as his face. Good job, me. I might redo those. Oh, those look fine. But not the first ones. I did the first couple of frames and really fast because I did not think I was going to put this much effort into it. But the more you blow off until the end, the more fixing you're going to have to do. It's a very, very wrecked up pipeline if you don't do stuff the correct way at first. I just gotta do the white. Bruh, come on. This might be easier to do in camera mode because I can change the color card to darker and actually see where stuff is colored or not colored, just as long as I'm on the color layer. Oh yeah, and the tool I've been using to edit the little points is the contour editor, which I have set to a shortcut. Last thing. I'll turn off the light table. The light table is great because it allows you to just focus on the layer that you're on. Looks pretty good if I do say so myself. Gotta color these chest staples. This stuff is... It's really hard to learn how to do stuff on your own, I think, just because this program is not... Everything in this program is, like, the most complicated as possible compared to something like Flash, where you can just pull an image in and then move it around, but on here it's like, no, you have to attach a peg and do all this other stuff. And then it's hard to learn what all this crap over here is, and then the drawing and the camera view and stuff. Well, maybe his piercings are okay. This isn't like a great animation or anything. I might redraw them, though. Alright, they're on this layer. I'm gonna draw them on this layer. Looking good, man. And then I'm just gonna... I don't feel like... Oh, did I? Okay. I don't feel like doing that whole color thing, so I'm just going to color on top. Instead of on the color layer, because screw it. It's a tiny correction. Alright. That's good enough. Maybe a little lower. Oh yeah, since they're technical on the color layer, and there, you can click this, apply to line art and color art, then it will select things on both of these. So I'm using the contour editor because it's going to grab the points. Because if I use the regular lasso tool, it's going to grab like the entire colored head. I'll move them down. So the base is colored. I'm wondering if I should add the bird marks. If I did that, I would do it later. But how I would do it is add a new drawing layer. Make a new swatch, and probably, instead of choosing black, I'd choose something like this. But I don't want to animate that right now. I'll show how to do shading layer. Because of course this is Harmony, so it's going to be as crazy as possible. So you can either make a swatch for each individual color for the shading, or you can do like a multiply layer, which is what I'm going to do because the other way is insane. So I'm going to make a new layer, call it the shadow. Come on. And this is the weirdest thing. Okay, so let's say I wanted a cool shadow. I'm going to only view these two layers. If you turn the circle on, it will only turn on that layer. But I probably shouldn't do that because I need to see where the hair is. So the hair, I'm going to do that. Just turns it into outlines because I want to know where to place the shadow. So on the shadow layer, I'm going to draw a stroke where I want the shadow. bear with me. I know it's popping off of the character, but I'll show you how to clip it. Do a stroke, or you can just draw one on. Dude looks high as fuck. Alright. So now what we're gonna do this thing is add a bunch of these effects. So first we add it's not gonna be opacity, which is just called transparency here because, you know, why make it make sense? And you can either change it down here by typing in a number, or you can just double click it. So it's 100% transparent, means you can't see it, instead of like 100% opacity. This is really, I don't like it. I wish they just call it opacity. So the lower the number, the less transparent it will be. Then we're going to add a blending mode, which is going to be multiply because, you know, darker. And if we turn on the color card, oh, it's on. Okay. And go to this render view, which is this button. That's what it's gonna look like. So it's gonna look different than the preview. And then the last thing we're gonna do after I fix that, I drew it on the wrong layer. And then we're gonna draw those out, draw those frames out. And yeah, you're gonna have to redraw the shadow on all of these, because that's fun. Alright, for the clipping mask, let's see, it's gonna be a cutter. And this is just wonderfully overcomplicated, so you open the cutter, and it's gonna ask what layer you want to reference when cutting. So you're going to, I think it's, yeah, clones a duplicate layer. You can edit it, and it won't mess with the original body layer. But if you do a clone, if you mess with this, it will affect that. So you're gonna make a clone, and then you're gonna drag it here. So now it's doing it the wrong way. You're going to want to invert that. So you double click this, click invert, there. Now it's only appearing where you want it. So that's a ridiculously complicated way, but that's how Harmony is. But yeah, that's how you're gonna do the, that's how we color it professionally. Or at least the like simplest way to. That's what it looks like rendered out. Alright, as promised, I'm going to talk about the swatches and the render view really quick. So I changed the shading swatch to a lighter blue, so when you go to render view, it looks like that before I had it darker. But the render view is important because currently if you don't have anything in the background, it will default to black. And if you want it to not be black, you have to add a color card. Whoop, not a camera. And then you just double click it and change it to whatever color, and then that'll be the actual background when it renders out. Because it won't render it out transparent, because obviously video formats don't support transparency. But if you wanted to export an animation to put into After Effects or something, you'd have to export it as an image sequence of PNGs instead of a video format. And most editing programs like that can import image sequences, which will just appear as individual frames like these. And then the cool thing about these color swatches is if you change the color of one of them, it changes it throughout the animation. So that's why you want to use them. Well, I guess you kind of have to use them. So if you want to be an emo on DeviantArt, super easy. One more thing I wanted to mention was the advantage of separating color art and line art onto different layers as opposed to just coloring on top. If you want to edit the animation later, let's just view this. Onion skin, you can see all the other the past frames by just turning off the colors and going to the line art only. If you were to color directly on the line art, it would look like this, and you wouldn't be able to see anything internally in the character, whether you had this turned on or not. So let's say, just for the sake of an argument, come on, man. Let's say you wanted to edit something and base it off of other layers. You wouldn't be able to, because no matter which one of these you go on, you're not going to be able to see any of the other stuff through all of this. So what you would have to do is delete all the colors on both this and the future, or the next frame, then edit it, and then recolor it. But with this, for separating them, all you have to do is just grab one of them, and then you can edit much easier.